Each day, she would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Good morning, respectful directors, deputy directors, judges, teachers, and all my beloved friends. My name is Soklin. I am a student in level 6 adult in the Department of Foreign Languages at Elegant International School. Today, I am very happy to share you all and tell you all about my story, which I read from the books. The title from my story is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. A long time ago, there was a young princess named Snow White. She lived in a castle which had a wonderful big garden. She enjoys many hours in the garden where she played with the friendly forest animals. As Snow White grew older, she became more beautiful. Her skin was as white as snow, her hair was as soft as silk, and her lips were as red as a rose. Snow White's stepmother, the queen, was not at all happy that Snow White was so beautiful. The wicked queen wished to be the most beautiful woman in the kingdom. Each day, she would ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?" Each day, the magic mirror told her, "You, my queen, are the fairest of them all." One day, the queen asked the mirror her usual question. The magic mirror replied, "Snow White is the fairest of them all." The queen was so angry, she decided she had to get rid of Snow White. Snow White heard about the queen's evil plan. She was very frightened and decided to run away. She sadly said goodbye to her animal friends and told them, "I cannot stay here, for my life is in danger." That night, Snow White packed her clothes and ran away into the forest. The forest was very dark and scary. The branches of the tree looked like very big claws, ready to scrap and scratch her. Tired and frightened, Snow White finally found a place to sleep for the night. When she awoke the next morning, she saw a group of little animal friends gathered around her. 7 friendly dwarfs were also standing nearby. The dwarfs invited Snow White to their contact deep in the forest. Snow White went to stay with the dwarfs. Each day, she tidied the house and cooked for the dwarfs while they worked at the mine. Each morning, before the dwarfs left for the work, they would want Snow White to be careful of strangers and not to leave the contact. "Your evil stepmother might come back to warn you," they told her. One day, the wicked queen found out that Snow White was living in the forest with the 7 dwarfs. The queen disguised herself as an old lady and prepared a poison of apple. She laughed to herself, "A big one of this apple and Snow White will be gone forever." When the queen reached the dwarf contact, she offered Snow White apple. Snow White thought that the queen was a kind old lady, so she happily accepted one of apples. She took a bite of apple, and before she could take another, she fainted and fell to the ground. The queen was pleased and cackled with laughter. She thought that Snow White was dead. When the 7 dwarfs found out that Snow White lay left on the ground, they were very shocked and upset. They tried to wake her up, but she did not move. "Our beloved princess is dead," they cried. The 7 dwarfs placed her in a glass casket outside the contact to remind everyone of her beauty. One day, a prince passed by the contact. When he saw Snow White, he instantly fell in love with her. He was so charmed by her beauty. He opened the glass casket and gave her a gentle kiss. His kiss broke the queen's evil spell, and Snow White awoke. The dwarfs were so happy to discover that Snow White was alive. They danced and sang in celebration. Snow White and the handsome prince were soon married and lived happily ever after. Thank you guys for paying attention.
Okay, thank you so much for your story. Okay, now let me invite our judge, Miss Kamina. Please ask any questions if you have.
Thank you, teacher. And thank you, Soklin, for your beautiful story. I have a question. And the question is, who is the worst character in the story? I mean, very bad character in the story.
Snow White's stepmother, the queen.
And why?
Because she was jealous of her stepdaughter. That's it.
Thank you so much, Soklin.